The mighty Heimdall, guardian of the nine realms and keeper of the rainbow bridge, the Bifrost in Norse mythology, the guardian that sees and hears near and far, beyond time and space, all the way down the Yggdrasil tree and beyond, the herald of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods, or the beginning of the end. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Leanna, an intuitive energy worker exploring embodied myth, cosmic understandings, my own intuitive insights on the universe, and grid working. I'm currently working to anchor in the restoration that has already taken place of the planetary grid through the heart-mind axis with the heart-womb axis. This means that it would help stabilize the work that's already taken place and allow Earth to hold it in coherence. This complements work that's already been done, including the work of Matias De Stefano, who is currently closing the loop of the ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, which he will finish in Argentina in December. And I might be in Argentina as well on my own journey or doing something else. But I will be doing work to help this mission here on YouTube. I currently have a few lives scheduled where I'll be doing some of this work to help prepare my own field and return keys and help cohere these places of the earth for Turkey, Glastonbury, and Egypt. So if you're interested in those, go check those out and click to be notified. They're being shared August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And I will be in Oregon for the equinox that's coming up in September. And I would like to do a few other nodes in person. If you would like to support that work, there are loads of links below for my services or my tip jar. So in this video, we are going to discuss Heimdall, the gatekeeper of heaven at the end of the rainbow bridge from Norse mythology, the connection to thunder and lightning, and the World Serpent, or the ouroboros. This relates to some of my other videos, so if you're interested in this topic or the work that I'll be doing with the Sophia grids, please go and check those out on my channel. And go ahead and give this video a like or share it when you're done watching it. It really helps. If you have not heard of Heimdall, this video will provide some basic understanding, but most will be intuitive connections and mythic understanding from my own being, webs that I've woven together. This is not from the poetic Edda or from Norse text, but the clues it left behind and why thunder and lightning are the ignition and the sound of the rainbow bridge. Heimdall, his name, the home of all light, the brilliant world, is known as the keeper of the Bifrost. And the Bifrost is the quivering or shaking bridge between the world of the gods, Asgard, and the world of humans, Midgard, that only lasts a split moment in time, known in common languages as the Rainbow Bridge. Heimdall is said to be the son of 9 sisters, or he has 9 mothers. Some texts say the son of 8 plus 1. How this has been interpreted has long been debated. Who are the 9 mothers? Is it the 9 waves, the roots of the Yggdrasil tree, the 9 worlds? And who is Heimdall really? The father of mankind, the guardian or the shepherd of the end of the gods, or Ragnarok? In Norse mythology, Heimdall lives at the edge of the Bifrost Bridge, where it meets heaven. Himinbjorg is the name of his holding Heaven's Castle or Heaven's Mountain. He is a seer, the sect of Norse gods who are more divine mind, logos, than divine body, but really he is a convergence as the gatekeeper, one who sees through the 9 realms, gives him a certain balance and understanding of all. He is root to the top branch of the Yggdrasil tree. Heimdall is also a keeper of a mighty horn, the hollering horn, one that resounds so greatly it can be heard through the 9 realms at once. He holds this horn with great wisdom, for when it is blown, it can fracture time, if the 9 realms are not in coherence. He watches, he guards, He keeps the keys that allow the Bifrost to manifest in form and transport the gods, their horses, across time and space. In Norse mythology, the Bifrost is a well-known symbol. And so is the Jormungandr, the World Serpent, the ouroboros. And the World Serpent is a pivotal character in Ragnarök and Heimdall's journey. Jormungandr is the name of the mighty serpent, a serpent so large it wraps around the world of Midgard, of Earth. The Jormungandr represents the eternal loop of time, the balance of the cycle, and the rhythm of the world. He is the serpent wrapped around the world with his mouth meeting his tail in union. If the Jormungandr releases his tail, this is the beginning of the end, or beginning of Ragnarök in Norse mythology, which is sort of their apocalyptic legend. Ragnarök means twilight of the gods, or end of the gods, or their final fight. When the Jormungandr released his tail in mythology, and Ragnarök began, Heimdall blew his mighty horn, announcing the beginning of the end, announcing the fracturing of time for Earth. When the tail was released and fracturing the Bifrost Bridge, the Rainbow Bridge. So if releasing the tail begins the end, then does rejoining the tail signal the end of the end, the restoration? The other night, when I was lightly meditating, I asked the seeking eye, what's next? He showed me thunder and lightning, and whispered Heimdall and the Bifrost, which is how this video came to be. So I felt a connection to Heimdall actually before this, because I was doing some work astrally with beings who were asking to return back home to where they belonged. And so this sort of reminded me of Heimdall's gatekeeping role. And thunder and lightning has also been a theme for me as well for longer than I've been talking about it. I've mentioned its connection to the bridge between heaven and earth in a couple of videos already. But how does it fold into the Rainbow Bridge, thunder and lightning? Matias's work restoring the mind-heart axis of the planetary grid and mind to reweave it through the womb-heart axis of the Earth's body. How does it relate to Bifrost from Norse mythology, and what was Heimdall's role? And is this Heimdall?
I will honor my sworn oath to protect this realm as its gatekeeper. If your return threatens the safety of Asgard, Bifrost will remain closed.
Like in the Marvel movies, Idris Elba releasing his lightning and providing the gate of the Bifrost to transport the gods between worlds. While the Marvel movies hold a lot of clues for technology and mythology, and even some here with thunderstorms acting as a portal for the Bifrost in the earlier films. But we can look more closely towards the actual myth of Heimdall to figure this out and piece it together with intuitive insights. So let's go back to Heimdall being the son of 9 sisters. One of the poetic Eddas lists his mother as the 9 waves, or daughters of the sea personifications of Ran and Ægir. Ran is associated with nets, a little whirly, and the name Ægir is associated with rivers and flowing water. Nets I tend to associate with geometry, universal order, and rivers with time, but that's just a little aside. So anyways, perhaps with these representations having more than one meaning, perhaps the personifications of the sea is not the earthly sea as we see it, but the cosmic sea between worlds. It is said that when the Rainbow Bridge breaks, you will have to make do with swimming between worlds, the rivers or the sea between worlds that flow through the Yggdrasil tree. And I was running this over in my head. What does it mean to have 9 mothers? Is it related to the 9 worlds, the 9 bodies? And then I heard all light. This showed me that Heimdall is the son of all categories of light spectrum, even the unseen. One of his mother's names even means red. The infrared and ultraviolet are his mothers, the unseen spectrums of light. But also the 7 that are visible, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. He is the son of all wavelengths of light. He is the son of the rainbow, guarding the waves of his mothers, woven into form at the edge of heaven, and able to see all waves of light, and hear all frequencies of sound, through the 9 realms, the seen and the unseen. As the son of all light, Heimdall doesn't just guard the rainbow bridge. He is the coherence, the creation of the rainbow bridge, the one who hears when the cycle is whole or fractured. Now I want to segue into when you see a rainbow. What creates a rainbow? And the reason why I say when you see a rainbow, well, we'll get there in a second. So to see a rainbow, you have to be standing with the sun behind you, the rain in front of you, so that the light is refracting through the moisture droplets, allowing you to see the visible light spectrum of the sun, which contains the wavelengths of all light. And it has to be at an angle of 42 degrees. Rainbows are above. Sometimes they look like they touch the ground, but most times they are above the body of the earth. Although I am seeing a lot more rainbow light in unusual cases. So a rainbow is just a refraction of light into its visible colors, into its visible color frequencies that we can see separated out. So this tells me the rainbow bridge is always here. You just can't always see the light because it doesn't have the right conditions, the right prism to flow through. However, the earth grid has not always been connected to the stream or in coherence to receive and hold it. The rainbow is the light from all that is streaming, but not the confirmation or manifestation of it in form. It is not able to be woven through earth and the heart-womb axis into stabilized coherence currently. And why can't it hold? Well, it's because the loop is broken, the cycle is fractured, and the circuit is open. Remember, open circuit in terms of electricity means it is not flowing back to the source. You want a closed circuit because the World Serpent released his tail, and the thunder sounded from Heimdall's horn, fracturing time and space between the 9 realms. Lightning, thunder, Thor. So I'm not going to get too much into Thor, but since Thor is the personification of lightning and thunder, and I am talking about lightning and thunder, it is worth a mention that in some of the texts there is some odd behavior mentioned with Thor and the Bifrost, that he swims under it instead of going across it. And this is sometimes interpreted or translated differently. But there is one translation, one interpretation that says that when Thor leaves heaven, or when the thunderstorm is over, that the bridge will burn. It will become too hot. This is a little funny because the Bifrost is sometimes interpreted as already burning. an internal burn, a hum, a glow of the bridge that protects it, the light that never ceases, not the burn of destruction. The Bifrost, though, is destroyed by the Muspel, or Muspelheim, the beings from Muspelheim, during Ragnarök, the burning ones from the realm of fire and world destroyers. Lightning and thunder, to me, is the ignition and resounding of the Bifrost bridge, the arc that tells us the loop is either fractured or returned. And a restoration loop means returning through the cycle that also fractured by the same means. It's the tesseract, touching the beginning and the end simultaneously. Lightning, to be formed, needs an electric field to be created between the sky and the earth, between the cloud. In the cloud, the charges separate between negative and positive, with one polarity accumulating at the base of the cloud. And the opposite polarity charge is formed on the ground, on the earth. This is formed what they call a stepped leader in the cloud. When the air can't hold the electricity field, the leader starts to descend. And it's an initial strike path, although not the strike itself, as far as I understand it. And then what's called a streamer rises from the earth to meet it, connecting sky and earth. And when they meet, the lightning is formed, a return stroke is sent, amplifying the visibility, and it is the circuit of the charge. It's the bright lightning that we see. It is the rainbow bridge made physical. It's the loop closing. And it tells us the light of the rainbow can root and reach back, that it's not just above body anymore. And when the thunder resounds, it is the cycle ending or beginning. It is the blow of the horn from Heimdall that is heard around the world. So Heimdall sounds his horn at the beginning of the end, letting the 9 realms know that Ragnarök has started. It gathers the gods for their final destiny, their twilight. He sounds this when the World Serpent releases his tail, signaling the world has fractured, the cycle cracked. In myth, in the text, there is only the rebirth of the world, not an end necessarily of Ragnarök, as many of the heroes and villains meet their end, including the World Serpent. But even that essence of the World Serpent, of the cycles, is reborn. But what if, when the ouroboros meets its tail in December during the winter solstice in Argentina, and the thunder sounds again, Heimdall is resounding the end of the end, the close of the Ragnarök cycle. And here's the funny thing about cycles. For some, sorry, the storm just broke here. For some, this will be the beginning, and for some, it will be the end. It all depends on your own resonance, your own perspective, and what you are willing to create for yourself. And to sum things up with crystalline clarity, the rainbow is the light always present, but not always received and held. Lightning is that light, closing the loop in form, reaching between heaven and earth. Thunder is the horn, the resounding sound across realms that announces whether the cycle is fractured or restored. And Heimdall can weave all three: the unseen rainbow in his sight, the lightning in his hand, and the thunder in his horn. And I hope you enjoyed this share story, weaving, connecting the dots between Heimdall, thunder, lightning, and the power of form. Because it is what allows us to root here in this experience. It's what allows us to restore the loop. And if this video resonated with you, I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe, and check out my lives coming up in a few days, or some of the videos I've already posted. And I'll see you next time.